Been around for a little minute for the very few people who are actually watching my shit. I've been in school and it's been kind of tough lately or whatever, but um some deviltry, as Cynthia G would call it, has brought me back into the fold after I heard of this story of, well, let me read this tweet first. Three boys broke into a zoo and stoned a flamingo to death. Uh, Before you ask, yes, they were. Now, if that didn't immediately click in your head, she's referring to the fact that yes, they were white. Okay, which is a surprise to no one. Okay, except for maybe white folks who like to pretend that they don't know their own pathology. But anyway, I actually found a story on this flamingo kicked to death by boys 5, 6, and 8. Now, I don't know if immediately you think to yourself, damn, that's a pretty young age to be fucking murdering an animal. I mean, I don't know. I don't know at what point or what age you should start murdering animals. You know what I mean? But I feel like 5, 6, and 8, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Where do you even get the strength, the power, or the determinants to go out of your way to try to murder another living creature. Okay, so wait, let me read the story. A gang of primary school children kicked a flamingo to death after pelting it with rocks at a zoo in the Czech Republic. The boys, aged 5, 6, and 8, attacked a flock of American flamingos at the Jalava Zoo in the town of Jalava. All three children scaled a fence to get to the flamingos. They then threw woods, stones. Well, you can't throw woods at anything. They threw wood and stones at the flock before brutally kicking them. A total of 30 stones were thrown at the birds in the enclosure. Um, I guess those are the kids right there. Two birds. Oh, I don't want to hear about the birds' life stories. Listen, why the fuck would somebody do that? Like, why would people do that? Like, why would someone kill a flamingo? I don't understand. Out of all the animals to murder, you know what I mean? Why a flamingo? Flamingos are probably the most harmless. I can't even think of a more harmless animal than a flamingo, to be honest. Because what do flamingos kill? I've never heard of someone saying their family has been attacked by flamingos, harassed by flamingos. I've never heard of anybody having a run-in with a flamingo. Like flamingos don't attack or do anything to anybody. I don't even think they eat other animals. What do flamingos eat? Do they even prey on anything? You know what I mean? That's crazy. So think, look at how harmless these creatures are, and these kids, so-called kids, okay, these young demons went out of their way to destroy one of them, or was it more than one? I think they killed one, but they injured like a whole bunch of them. But what's the point? You know what I'm saying? And something I just want to make clear is I'm not calling flatterly. I'm not gonna sit over here and try to make a bunch of videos talking about how evil and demonic and horrible white people are because I feel like that's kind of pointless to a degree because it's like I think white folks outdid themselves a long time ago. Okay, there was a point in time, and a lot of people don't know this because we don't talk about it a lot in history, where white folks were literally tearing black people to pieces and then selling their parts in stores. Like they were turning black people into wallets and shoes and shit. Like we were a type of animal. We were another living human being, and they were doing that, tearing black people up and just selling them in stores legally. So how can white folks do worse than that? How can they outdo themselves with that? You know what I mean? All the stuff that they do now is just child's play. You know what I mean? It's just regular activity for them. You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's just pointless for me to sit up here and try to talk about every little thing that they do. You know what I'm saying? But my thing about it is I just want to point out a mentality, a certain mentality that it seems that white folks have, right? Where they seem to be very vicious towards things that can't protect themselves. You know, they seem to go out of their way to try to destroy creatures and beings who have aren't doing nothing to them. These flamingos weren't running around their neighborhood. These flamingos, they went out, they jumped over the fence to go and murder the flamingos. And I just feel like it shows it's like white people personified. Okay, not all white people, of course, but like most of y'all. I would say the majority of y'all. Y'all go out of your way to fuck with people who are not fucking with you and don't stop until you murder them. From what I've seen historically, right? Can we say that? Historically. White folks have bended over backwards. Think about this. They climbed the fucking fence. Okay, they climbed the fence to get to them to murder them. All right. But here's something I want to show you. So back to this tweet. Where I got this tweet from was a forum that I'm gonna probably feature a lot on my channel that I go to a lot, called Black People Twitter. It's on Reddit, and it's like a collection of funny black like jokes and trends that are going on. And what's really interesting about it is that it's frequented mostly by white folks, which you might think is a surprise, but it really isn't, as white folks are like, it seems like they're obsessed with black culture despite not liking black people. And I want to show you the commentary that a lot of them have on these things having to do with black people that have nothing to do with them. But so, for instance, here's how they react to their children murdering a defenseless animal. Let's look at some of the things they're saying. Okay. So the top comment had to be removed. So he probably said some horrible shit about black people. Why was the first instinct to jump and attack black people? You know what I'm saying? Uh, Business as usual for white folks. No, I wouldn't. No zoos in the hood. Now I can kind of use your context clues, and you could tell that this comment was trying to say, "Oh, black kids kill animals too," or black something like that. Because if you read the comments, you can gauge the context of what they're responding to. Like they said, "Nah, only white people bored and crazy enough kill." Basically, you can infer kill animals. This person is trying to say black people do it too. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. Black children don't do that shit. That's the crazy thing that white folks have tried to. There's so much years and years and years of propaganda. They've tried to convince themselves that black children or young black people are somehow innately violent or something. When their kids are the ones who will bend over backwards to torture and to destroy other beings. You know what I'm saying? When I was 5, 6, and 8, I wasn't trying to kill no fucking animal, and no black kid I knew was. Okay, most of us were afraid of animals, even lizards and iguanas and shit. All those creatures, black people strayed the hell away from them, and white folks would hunt them out. It would always be the white folks who'd want to touch them and play with them and pick them up and bother them or harass them. And it was always the black kids trying to stay away from them and leaving them alone. You know what I'm saying? But white folks have convinced themselves that our children that are young are inherently violent or have some type of violent issue, even though it's shown time and time again that they will go out of their way to try to destroy uh, any living thing that's not messing with them. The ecosystem, they'll try to destroy the ecosystem, the environment. They like it's not even just animals, like insects, humans, creatures. Like they go out of their way to try to destroy any living thing. From what I see, let me keep reading these comments. Also, the fact that the headline doesn't mention their race or uses the word thugs, that's true. If that is what she meant, then yes, she's right in pointing out their race. I don't think she meant the lack of vilify these kids though. I don't know what the comment you're replying to said. Yeah, neither do I. But it happened in the Czech Republic, in Europe. Not mentioning race or ethnicity usually means Arab. Oh fucking please. Let me tell you what this comment. Okay, maybe I'm reading this comment wrong. But there's like this thing that these low key white supremacists do, where they try to claim that, oh, when race isn't mentioned, it's because the group is like a colored group or something like that. Like when race isn't mentioned, it's Arabs. Like this comment bothers me because I see people, they do this all the time when they're like trying to refer to black people, saying, oh, the race wasn't mentioned because it's black people. Oh fucking please, the race isn't mentioned all the time when it's freaking white folks, all the freaking time. So stop this bullshit that a race isn't mentioned because, oh, it's a non-white person and they don't want to vilify non-white people or something. That's what you guys do all the freaking time. Okay? White people are professionals in vilifying fucking colored people. What do you mean? Try to play this game like, colored people are being protected by white folks when you guys are the number one fucking vilifiers of everybody non-white. You guys are the number one vilifiers of non-white people, and then they try to say these slick comments and like, oh, the race wasn't mentioned because it's this or that group or whatever. Well, why not? It's not like you guys don't sit around all the time and vilify other groups. You know what I mean? It's this fake sense of fucking um uh what's a good word for you think that you're a hero or something like that? That's what they think. Okay. Oh, this is where I found the story. What else are these comments saying? Future school shooters, yes. Disappointing. They were kids. They actually were kids, I guess, 5, 6, and 8. Must be white if they're still boys on the news and not gang members or street thugs. Now that is true. That is true. Whenever black people do anything, young black people, they always morph into these other things. They're always thugs and gang members or whatever. They never you'll ever hear the connotation referring to young black people as kids. You know what I'm saying? There was actually a story recently. Um, I think Cynthia was covering it where these black kids got like caught up with some white chick trying to pretend she's trying to claim, oh, they raped her or some shit. And I doubt that they did. They usually don't. Well, but we won't find out till after their lives are ruined. And they weren't even 18. A lot of them were like 16 and 15, and they were being referred to as fucking men. Okay? Black people turn into men real fast. I'm telling you. The oldest of these kids was 8, so I don't know about that. Even though I agree with you, and the news does demonize young black men. So yeah, this is true. It's true, but why is this comment on a black forum, the top comment, not the comment above this comment, why is it getting all these downvotes? Because it's true. This is, you see what I'm saying? It shows you the oppressive nature of white folks. Because here's a forum made for black people, made with stuff made by black people, and black person can't even speak freely in here. You know what I mean? That kind of sums up white people and their oppressive, well, some white people and their oppressive nature, where they will where you can't even have nothing for yourselves. They will come and try to be an authority figure in things that have nothing to do with them. What's the last comment on here? My bad, I hadn't read the article. Just constantly see young kids making mistakes turned into monsters on the news. Oh, is this the same person? It's funny how it turned into young kids now. Why weren't you why don't you stay strong and talk about how black people are being vilified? Now you turn it around talking about young kids. Anyway, so yeah, white folks or these so-called white kids, these young devils, went out of their way to murder flamingos, and I just think black people need to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you have white kids running around with your children. Just keep that in mind because they tell their kids to worry, and to watch out for our kids and how our kids are all dangerous and this, that, and the third, while their kids go out of their way to murder living beings. You know what I'm saying? So you next time you have a talk with your black child, you let them know who they're running around and what they're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? White folks had the nerve to sit over here and slaughter black people for hundreds of years and then turn around and tell their kids to worry about us. Fuck out of here. Anyway, like and subscribe and share, you know. I do this for you guys, all 11 of you.